Hi friends, fellow source beings. Okay, so the title for this video is life a question or an answer? Okay, so I'll just get straight to the point. Personally, I believe it's a life, or you could say your own existence. It's a temporary answer to a permanent question. Or you could look at it the other way. It's a permanent answer to a temporary question, right? Maybe we're alive to find the answer to that eternal question about how and why we're here. You can go with science. You could always, like, what happened before the Big Bang, and then they get into string theory, like, what happened before that, and then it just keeps going on and on and on for eternity. It's like chasing a carrot on a stick, and it can go both ways. Things can be infinitely big or infinitely small. That's what they're discovering over at the where's that, the CERN lab. They're discovering new particles. They're always going to discover new particles. You know what I mean? It's just going to keep going until they get to the Planck energy. But the Planck energy doesn't really exist because it's the energy of nothing. Okay, it's the energy of the singularity. It's the energy of the invisible manifestation of dark energy, basically. Well, anyways, let me get back to the topic here. I have some notes here so I could stay focused on the topic of the video. So, we live in a vast universe where there are so many possibilities for different questions to be answered. So you could ask yourself, is love real? Are angels real? Are aliens real? What's inside a black hole? Where was I before I was born? I think the best thing we can do for our life, in my personal experience, is always be like a child. And I'm not saying be childish, but I'm saying always never forget to lose your curiosity, because that's what one thing schools do is they teach you that life is about memorizing things. They teach you that life is about just like this leaf, right? Like, remember how this leaf, the DNA molecules, remember the structure of it, but they don't tell you to be curious, to be like, how do they line up like that, or why, or or what are the possibilities of this leaf, what could it evolve into, or what can it turn into. They don't really teach you to be curious. I guess you can only do that for yourself. And it's not really their fault. So anyways, so let's go back to the topic. So life is basically an answer to the eternal question, and it all depends on what kind of questions we ask, right? So it's all about asking the right kind of questions. So one thing to make sure that you remember is don't let anybody tell you that something is not possible, because that's taking away your answer to that question for life. Does that make sense? So, like, this is why there's so many different religions. This is why there's wars. This is why there's so many different internet communities. And there's lower beings, like, we'll just say ants, for example, right? They're not really asking many questions. Ants aren't asking many questions. They're just kind of focused on their own survival. This is what separates us from the animals. So if there is a higher intelligent species, like they talk about, like they have like ranks of ET civilizations from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3 or whatever. So anyways, so I'd imagine if there was a type 3 civilization, which there most likely is, so they would kind of look at us like ants in a way. Unfortunately, that's kind of how I see a lot of people. That's not really my intention, but I feel like a lot of people are focused on their own survival because they only think that they are their body, but they're not just their body. Their body comes from source. It goes back to source. Everything kind of just melts back into itself. But that's completely off topic again. So children are always asking questions. So within this cosmic infinite universe, let's see, what did I write here? The answer to the question will always be I don't know what that says. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. I don't remember what I wrote. I can't read my own handwriting. Well, okay. Well, what I think I wrote down is so basically within this infinite universe, I think the answer to the question is always what we're looking for. Like we'll always find the answer to the question that we're asking, right? There's some people, they question like, oh, what is it like to be a millionaire, or what is it like to be a cop? What is it like to save lives? What is it like to be homeless? What is it like to have kids and have a family? There was a spider crawling on me. What is it like to get bit by a spider or not get bit, or to trust it? That's why in other countries, like, you'll see a bunch of like Indians, like like in India, they'll like play with snakes, and I personally, I don't know how they have that much courage. I guess they asked the question, maybe does a snake not bite? And I guess they found the answer, and some of them trust it. So that's why I guess there's so much diversity, because everybody's asking a different question. So you go around in life, everybody, just to experiment for yourself. When you're in public, okay, so ask yourself this question: what answer am I looking for in this very present moment? And then if you see your neighbor to your right or to your left of you, whatever they look like or whatever, just look at them and be like, what question are they looking for an answer to? Like, so questions are like keys, okay? Just think of it like our free will. And there's like an infinite amount of doors, okay? There's an infinite amount of questions we can ask. So basically, asking the question is like a key. We have this key in our hearts, okay? And it opens a door. So like, let's say I said, I'll do something very simple. What does this leaf smell like? Okay, or I'm like curious, right? So like, what does this leaf smell like? So pretend like my entire life, from point A from my birth to my death, my whole path is answering this question: what does this leaf smell like? So my journey will be this. And honestly, I don't know what it smells like. It didn't really smell like. I can't really smell it because I had a peach earlier, and I think I was just smelling that. It doesn't really smell like anything. But then again, what does nothing smell like? You know what I mean? So that's just a small example. I'm sure if you're watching me now, you're asking questions. So ask whatever question you want to me. Like, not to me, but ask. How I reveal myself to you is my freedom to express how I want to answer your question about that revelation to the question you're asking about me. And the same could be for you. So like I can't really prove that I'm self-aware, I'm sentient. We're trying to create artificial intelligence, sentient life, artificial sentient life, which doesn't make sense. The spider's crawling on me. I'll just let it this time. If I get bit, whatever. God, the thought just flew over my head. A spider put me in a state of fear. Well, okay, let me get to this point. So there's people, so a lot of people in this world, they're always questioning about the future, right? They're not really living in the present moment. They're like, oh, let me question, what time is it? What time is it? That's what the definition of literally impatience is, what am I going to do in the future? You're basically, you're living, you're not fully expressing yourself in this present moment, as an expression, in the present moment, right? So like, I'll give you an example. There was this guy at the bus stop earlier today, and he just kept looking at his watch, and he's like, what time is it? Or not like, well, I was doing that thing where I was trying to question what is he seeking in life, what is his questions. So I noticed he was looking at his watch, and I'm like, oh, his question of life must be, when is the bus going to get here so I can get to where I need to be? And it's like, nobody's really content to just be where they are. See, there's a spider, or there's the camera. There it is. Can you see the spider? Right there on my hand. So there's people are always questioning, like, about time. Okay, let's forget about, I think, our questions. It's about asking the right questions. Okay, so maybe there is no such thing as a wrong question or a right question. Maybe we need to get rid of the idea of right and wrong. Whether you believe in the story of Adam and Eve as metaphorical or literal, I guess to some people it could be literal, some people it could be metaphorical, depending on what they choose to believe, or what questions they asked about it. Does that make sense? Because everybody has a different answer to different questions, and that's why we're all so diverse in our own opinions about life. And this causes wars, this causes all sorts of stuff. But I think as a collective, we need to come together and realize that this is about ourselves, that we all are the same, essentially. Like, essentially, when I say essentially, I mean our essence is the same. We come from the same place. We're all looking for an answer to that eternal question. So, and I think the why is the cause and the effect is the how. Whatever that means to you, you can ask that question yourself and figure that out. Let's see. Oh yes. So the story about Adam and Eve, right? And God was like, don't eat from the knowledge of good and evil, because you'll die or whatever. Well, what if like metaphorically that meant like, stop thinking about what's right and wrong. Like, if you're always questioning, am I doing the right thing? Am I obeying the law? Am I getting good karma? Am I doing the right thing? Like, if you're always asking if you're doing the right thing or you're doing the wrong thing, then maybe that's not the right way to exist. You know what I mean? That seems like a very restrained way to live. It's like it's like dancing, right? This is the problem with society. We've turned dancing into a performance. We've turned singing into a performance. We've turned making love into a performance. I would say art, like painting, especially abstract art, I would say is one of the last true expressions of art these days. Spider's like floating from my beard. What are you doing? Okay. I don't know if you guys could see that, but it literally just kind of like did like a Spider-Man leap over to my shoulder. Later on, I'll get into like dark energy and light energy in my other videos, but right now I basically just wanted to answer the question that's basically unanswerable. But that's the whole point of life. It's kind of fun, and so one good question you can ask is, what are some new questions? You know, what are some new things to discover? And I think where curiosity meets discovery, I think that's where things, new ideas get created. Like, it's where curiosity meets discovery, right? It's like an adventure, like discovering something new. This is why we have had so many great inventions from usually people that are very curious beings. So, like Albert Einstein, right? You think he would have invented? Well, he didn't invent the nuclear bomb, but he came up with he discovered the equation. It's like the equation was already there to be discovered. In string theory, it says that we don't even need the equation E equals mc squared anyway, which could even be wrong to a certain degree, but it's like it's something that was waiting to be discovered, right? So like, okay, yesterday in my homeless video, there was a guy, he was searching for like lost cell phones and like jewelry, right? So basically his purpose to his life is going around with a metal detector, at least in that moment, going around with this metal detector looking for an answer to be discovered. And you know, and sometimes I guess he does discover those answers, and that answer is finding cell phones and finding rings and stuff. But you know, like, there's got to be a lot more to life than finding cell phones and rings. We got to ask deeper questions, and we got to seek. Well, in my opinion, this is at least what I want for my life and my world. And our world is turning into a type 1 civilization, whether we like it or not. The internet is a global communication network. And we're all eventually going to have to agree on something, or else we'll all be divided. It's like, well, maybe we don't have to agree on everything. I don't know. Or I don't know. I think there should be one thing to agree on. It's kind of like live and let live, but it's kind of hard when you have government telling you what to do all the time, and money and rules and all this shit. But I think there's a way out. I think if you just ask the right questions, I think we can figure out a way to make this a better world for ourselves, and everybody else in it that wants a better world. Because honestly, this world is kind of boring. Like we sit and we watch TV, and like we think that's all there is just reading books or watching TV. We think that's, you know, the stuff that is nonfiction, or the stuff that is fiction is the only stuff that's like fun, right? But the thing is, it's funny because usually science fiction turns into science fact in the future, right? So I think what we need to do is we need to figure out the right questions to ask. You know, and I don't remember if I already said this or not. This is my notes. I'll say it again if I haven't. Movies or you know, like movie directors and people that make books and stuff, you know how they always like try to leave you with like a cliffhanger at the end of a chapter or at the end of a show, or like J.J. Abrams says he has this theory where he tries to create like this mystery in a box, and like the audience is trying to figure out this mystery throughout the whole movie, like what's inside the box, you know. And I think that's why directors do that, because they know that when you're looking for an answer, you're going to be intrigued, you're going to be involved. So I guess it's about asking the right questions about life and about your existence. And honestly, I think we need to forget about good and evil. We need to forget about people's intentions. We need to start questioning what they're questioning, you know, not judging them. We're just kind of seeing the way they want to express themselves as they exist. And we need to stop focusing on quality, what should be, you know, like the very big in the universe, the very smooth surfaces, and the quantity would be the very small, the very uncertain things in life. So this quality quantity mindset is like basically like fear and greed. Like fear is uncertainty, you know, the uncertainty principle with the quantum, and then you have basically the certainty principle, which would be the relativity. Basically things are like, you know, precise and exact, and you know, and Dr. Michio Kaku says like God has two hands, they don't really get along, you know, but it's for a reason. You know, God's hands are separated, but it's for a reason. So anyways, the song for the day is going to be What is Love, or What is Love by Haddaway. I'll put it in the description, as well as a quote from a famous person. And the quote is, this one is from Elon Musk. One of the really tough things is figuring out what questions to ask. Once you figure out the questions, then the answer is relatively easy. End of quote. Okay, guys. I hope this helps you in whatever way, shape, or form. Let's manifest a better reality for everybody. Let's ask the right questions. Bye.